Hi there, Sandra here. Today I wanted to go over lighting options. I've got to the stage now where before I do anything else in the design process, excuse me, I'm just dropping things, I need to decide what lighting I'm going to have in here and what I'm going to use to do it. So I have my window wall here, which has a gap at the back. So, you know, the hole there, you can see through. So I could, in theory, put lighting behind here. I'm contemplating wall sconces on here, or possibly ceiling lights when I put the roof in, which I haven't even cut yet because I wanted to see what I decided to do first. So I've left my options open, but it's got to the stage now where I really do need to think about what I'm going to do with it, because otherwise it's going to be very dark in there and you won't be able to see a great deal. So it definitely needs lighting. The question is which sort. So let me go through a few, just collapsing walls here, a few sorts which you can get. And I have one sort here which is a traditional Christmas light. It's somewhat long, powered by a battery, no remote control or anything like that, no fancy controls on it, just a couple of, I presume it's AAs. Yeah, it is AAs in there. This particular one has snowflakes on it. Now, point of fact, that as a ceiling rose would actually look quite pretty, I think. So that would be a possibility. Now, I do know, because I did it, because I took one or two off the end of this string before now, as you can see, that the snowflake part of it comes off. I can't remember how it came. There you go, it pulls off. So you would only need to have a, I'm guessing 5 or 6 millimeter hole somewhere to poke that through. Now you're not stuck to just using these. You could make your own covers and use whatever you liked as a ceiling rose. So that is a possibility. If I were to use that, I would be putting my battery pack probably in the back there, unless I decided to let the wire come out and put the battery pack somewhere on the shelf so that it was more easily accessible. So for example, if I put a roof on here and I put a little wall around the roof, that could possibly hide the battery pack. And if I put it around that way so that controls at the front, you could just put your hand over the top and indeed switch it on or off. So not insurmountable, it's doable, and these things are dirt cheap to buy. Here's another option, and a couple of different ways that you can use it. Now, if you're not going to have it lit up very often, only on high days and holidays, you could use tea lights. If you have a bigger piece of furniture, for example, you might have that there, you could possibly hide it behind, but it's not very practical. But what you could do is put a, I'm guessing here, about a centimetre hole in the ceiling and literally just pop it into the ceiling. And as I mentioned before, if you've got ceiling around here and you then put a wall around the ceiling, no one is going to see that, but you've still got easy access to switch it on and off or to change it out for something else. This is 30 centimetres of cable, from what I gather, warm white, 60 LEDs, and these are on a timer, or can be on a timer, which is 6 hours on, 6 hours off, and 3 hours on, 9 hours off. I've no idea. And these lights look somewhat unusual, so yeah, I thought I'd get them and see. And it was the grand price of €3.55. I don't know how they actually make these things for this price, let alone sell them, and sell them at a profit. I definitely like this one. I think for €3.55, okay, you've got to buy a couple of batteries, but I think for €3.55, that is pretty good. Now, the advantage of this one that I can see is, if I bring this back, for example, now let's just maintain I've got my box back here, so it doesn't matter where the box is, but I've got these different leads. So I could have a wall sconce over there. I could have a wall sconce here. I could have a couple of wall sconces over here. Or maybe a lamp that was next to the wall so I could sneak the wire through. I could have another thread of them going round here and going behind my window. Now I think that I saw these on, I can't remember if it's Temu or Amazon to be quite honest, but I think I saw these, one of them with a remote, which would be the nicest way of doing it, but it's not that bad. And I'm pretty sure I saw them on USB. Now the reason I haven't got a USB one at the moment is because they haven't been available in the shops locally. I have ordered some USB lights, not these, just a normal string of little rice lights on USB. Because I'm probably going to be doing more lighting up projects, and I thought this would make more sense. But quite often, our house doesn't have that many sockets. And so something which is on a battery is often better from this point of view. Because if I want to put it in the middle of a wall somewhere where there's no socket around, I can't get the socket, then yeah. So I think this one is probably going to be my choice for today for this particular one. Okay, so the last option I have today is one which has remote control and different modes. Oh yeah, fun. So according to this one, it has different color options, it's got timers, the lights are 100 degrees, they have 25.0 hour, I presume that's a lifetime on a battery, I don't know. 50 cycles, I presume that means, of going on. RGB dimming, good heavens. So yeah, but these are strip lights, so not quite as easy to use in a project like this unless I just wanted to put them in the ceiling and maybe put one on this side, one or two on this side. So not quite as easy to use, but I do just want to have a look because my curiosity is piqued. And you all know how my curiosity gets. It piqueth a lotteth. Right, okay. So we have this, which presumably there's a battery in here to operate it, so you have to take that out to operate the thing, and these need to have batteries shoved in. And Teddy has decided to take this precise moment to start meowing at me. If I point it at the ceiling, for example, it's going on and going off. So it doesn't have to be within line of sight, but I'm guessing that it probably can't be hidden entirely. Let me just try from here. If I put it in there and I put the lights on, oh no, it still works, which is interesting. So yes, I could in theory have some lights behind here if I was going to wrap it. What I would suggest, if you do get something like this, you get a piece of tape or ribbon or whatever, and you map out the route and you see whether it's doable. But in theory, it should be quite possible to do it. I just don't think this is the easiest one if you want lights here, 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 and here. If I just want to put ceiling lights in and maybe a light there, I think that would probably be quite doable. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be, but yeah. Interesting. So modes for these, we obviously have the on and off. So if I switch it on, I think the colours are really pretty. Now I've got orange, yellow, white, blue, purple, my heavens. Oh, I could have great fun with it. Pink, another colour blue, reddy ones, another type of blue, green ones, not so keen on green, orangey ones. I mean, that's very pretty. So there's all sorts of temperature colours that you could have. Now let's see how it looks if it's behind that. I need to pull my blind down so we can actually see it as if it was dark. Yeah, you definitely get a certain amount of light showing there. You wouldn't want it too close. I'd say what you might possibly want to do is to loop it so that it is like a centimetre or so away from the window itself. I'll switch this to, where's white light? There we go, that's white light more or less. So, yeah. I mean, it has lots of possibilities. I really like the idea. Where's the off button? There we go. Open up my window blind again. I really like the idea of a remote control and being able to control the lights even if it's with a battery, because it just makes it easy. Oh, I'm going to bed now, I'll just switch the lights off. You don't have to do any fiddling around within a shelf or something. And maybe it's up high and you can't reach it on a regular basis. I don't know, maybe not. So I think this is quite an interesting one. I'm going to put the little piece of plastic back in there so that battery now won't do anything. Yeah, that's fine. And if I don't use it for this project, I'll certainly find something else to use it on, because this looks really fun. Okay, so I think for this one I'm going to use this string of lights. It's just going to be very easy to do. We have on, off and timed. On, timer and off. And in fact what I think I'll do is I'll mark that with some alcohol markers so it stands out a bit more obvious. So if I put it on like that, that's on a timer, but I have no way of knowing which end of the timer it is on, and then that is fully on, or you switch it off completely. So at least it has options. But I think that this will be a good one to use for ceiling lights and wall sconces, and have light behind this as well. Whoops, just about to lose a battery. Can just about see light behind there. They're not very strong, but they're probably strong enough if you've got enough of them. So we shall see. At least I have options. Since I've decided that for this project I'm going to go with these lights, I can cut off a whole load of them. There's 6, 12, 18, 24 lights there. That is way more than I anticipate needing. But what it will do, if I have this, for example, all the way around here, my lights will still get to there, and if I put it up like so, they'll stretch way over. So I don't need anything longer than that, and I can't imagine me needing more than 24 lights, to be honest. I think that is a tad of overkill. So I've got some wire snippers here, and I'm going to snip them off. And so these other ones won't be wasted, they'll just go into my supply bucket. And just to prove to you that it still works, there we go. So I've now got a more manageable string of lights, and I can work out exactly where I want to put them and how I want to put them on. But for the moment, I'm going to wrap these spare ones around something so that they don't get all tangled up and completely unusable. Tongue depressors have a really useful life.